Start.
Good morning, everyone. Ignite is a student mentorship program conceived and presented by the 1992 batch of engineering and technology alumni present across the globe. Through this event, alumni from across the globe are interacting with students through online video conferencing, and we guide the students on the various career options available and how to prepare for them. These interactions are also webcast live on the Annamalai University Alumni Association's YouTube channel and will be available as a ready reckoner for the future generations. Ignite consists of 20 unique sessions on various aspects of career building and conducted between 1st of February and 26th of February. We are in the fourth week of Ignite and today is the 18th session. There are four speakers today: Mr. Ramasamy, who works at Global Foundries Singapore; Mr. Ayyappan, who is in Siemens Energy; Mr. Dhurai from Qualcomm; and S. Kasi, who is working in Alstom Transport Singapore. Mr. Ramasamy is from the batch of 1992 Electrical and Electronics Engineering. He has 25 years of experience in semiconductor process development and integration. He holds over 15 US patents and numerous publications to his credit. He is now the Manager, Technology Development in Global Foundry, Singapore. We now request him to guide us on the career opportunities in Singapore.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for the nice introduction. Can you hear me? Is my voice is audible?
Yeah, Ramasamy.
Okay, thank you very much. So let me just bring up my presentation. Okay, as introduced, my name is Ramasamy. I studied in '92 and I work for Global Foundries. Before I start, I would like to thank my teachers back in '92 then. Dr. Ramaswamy, I think, is still there, Dr. Bhaskaran and Dr. I.A. Chidambaram, and numerous people at that time taught us. I really would like to take this opportunity and thank them. I really appreciate, even though at that time we didn't show a great potential, but your products that you produce today are very good in the market, and really thanks for your guidance and all your efforts in teaching us. Thank you. And I take the opportunity also to thank Mahendra and team and the Alumni Association in bringing up this wonderful event. I really appreciate your time, and all the efforts that you guys are putting are really great. So with that said, and also the students who are listening to this, thank you for your time and effort on this. With that said, I would like to put my agenda for the next 5 to 10 minutes. I would like to share what I have seen in the semiconductor industry, the ecosystem around it, and the opportunities landscape in this industry, and then finally a few tips for the students. So without further ado, I would like to introduce my vision of the food chain. I call it how this whole industry is functioning. Roughly, this is a $500 billion industry, and around 1 million people are employed, and this is continuing to grow in the pace of around 5 to 10%. And I'll show you the growth graph later. The products are first envisioned by product companies. Let's say Apple, or say Microsoft or Google or Samsung. They envision a product. Once the product is defined with the requirements, they go to a circuit company and ask to realize this concept to a real circuit. The other day, Shivakumar and Venkata, both of them explained well how these design companies function, what are their opportunities there. But I would like to tell the big players here are Qualcomm, Broadcom, and AMD are big players here. And with that said, the circuit in a paper form is now need to be fabricated on the silicon. For that, we need to convert this design into a layout. So here again, big companies like Synopsys, Cadence do the job converting the electronic component into a real physical layouts, basically placing them. Very high automation softwares, design automation is employed here. Then it goes into a fabrication, really making the circuits into the silicon. The other day, Raghavan and team explained very well on the fabrication part. This is where I spent the last 25 years. Later, I'll show you how the technology shrinking is enabling the growth here. I'll come to that in the next slide. But companies like Global Foundries, TSMC, UMC, big foundry players are here to make the silicon as required by the product companies. Not only the fabrication companies behind this, there are equipment companies which supply, like ASML. Lithography is a key equipment for fabrication. And we have Applied Materials, Lam Research. Those are big equipment companies where there is a plenty of opportunities for students available there. With that said, the circuit is now fabricated onto the silicon and then diced or singulated and put into a package so that it can be assembled for future application. But packaging itself is a big industry. Companies like ASC, Amcor are big players here, and the silicon is needed to be packed into a package, wired to a ball grid array, that what you're seeing here, and a heat sink on top. This is how a package can be a very different type, and this itself is a big, huge industry. Okay, with packaging done, that goes into testing. Testing by itself, a big field. Companies like Advantech, Keithley make the testers, but basically it tests the functionality of the product as requested by the product company or the circuit design company. And then it also ensured for the quality and reliability. Quality is to ensure that the whole business cycle is very efficient. We don't waste our resource, and the cost of non-conformance is quite huge. So emphasis on quality and reliability is very huge on this. Again, your engineering knowledge on this would be very useful for quality and reliability. Reliability itself is by far a big field. It uses fundamental physics all the way down to making margin, the design itself, and every company uses a big reliability group to ensure we are producing good components. And having said that, tested and passing the reliability and quality, it goes into a board assembly. And here's where I started my career, and I traveled on the anti-clockwise on this food chain. I'm now in the fabrication. Surface mount technology is although it's a low end, but it's again advancing because we are producing in a very high throughput products. The assembly itself is quite amazing. And again, plenty of opportunities. Big players here are Foxconn, Venture are big players in this field. And finally, the product is made as requested by the company. On this chain, the job lucrativeness begins with the product company. This is where the highly paid jobs in the I hear some voice. Any questions? So the lucrativeness of the opportunities starts with the product company and diminishes in this clockwise. And here's the chart that the industry growing. Different applications like memory, microcontroller, logic, many applications are there. And with the pandemic, the digital transformation is happening quite rapidly now. As a result, we are producing more and more electronic chips. So plenty of opportunities available in this field. I would like to assure you engineers who are coming out. Okay, now I would like to little bit explain on detail of how the technology evolves and what is it driving the whole industry. Very quick, without going into the device physics. You can assume a transistor is a Lego block. It's a unit brick that builds the circuit. So as long as you understand how a unit transistor is made and why the technology evolves to shrink is the key here. You all must have studied well on the field effect transistor, NMOS and PMOS. And what you're seeing here is a planar view of a transistor. The bright portion, a rectangular portion here, is the silicon. And outside the dark area is the isolation, or we call it silicon dioxide. The finger on top of the channel is the gate. And you can see when we design the layout, we will be shaping it very perfect square corners. But when you fabricate, you can see it is rounded. So it has some artifacts during fabrication. And it's partially processed, haven't fully completed yet. There will be a contact, will be landing on this bulge portion to make the gate contact. And there will be a source drain contacts at these regions. And if I cut on this direction, X and X prime, you will be seeing a transistor like this. So that is a gate, and the gate length is 40 nanometer. Just to appreciate the size and the features here, I would like to hang some numbers here. Human hair is a 60 micron width. And if you cut the human hair and on the cross-section area, we can pack 3,000 of these transistors on the surface area. So just imagine how mind-boggling is this to the miniaturization has happened. I just took hair as an example because for me, that is a very rare commodity. So I use that as an example. And let's just quickly see how the gate functions, the transistor functions. I'm showing you a schematic here, a source and a drain and a gate. Assume I have powered the gate. Now the gate, through the gate oxide, which is a dielectric, very, very thin. And that through that, when you will have a channel induced. So there'll be a definite time taken to induce the channel depending upon the gate thickness. And say a signal is available at the source. And when the gate is on, the electron will, or the current, in this case is NMOS, and the carrier is electron, would carry to the drain. So there is a time taken to induce the channel, and there is a time taken to cross the signal from end to end. Then the output is going to drive the next transistor. So again, that will take another interconnect delay. So the overall time delay is all these three components. Now assume I have shrunk the technology to a smaller gate width. This 40 nanometer has become, say, 20 nanometer by half. So the gate oxide will also be thinner. So the time taken to turn on the channel will also be less. And the time taken to travel the end-to-end also is smaller now because the gate width has shrunk half. So the entire transistor is now working very fast. So the delay have come down, the performance have increased, and because of the shrink, I can produce more number of transistors in a given area. We are producing only wafers. So the wafer area is fixed, so I can pack more number of transistors, so I can gain more cost for the manufacturing. So almost at the same cost or reduced cost, I can make a transistor that is faster and better performance. So this is what is driving the entire technology to grow faster and faster. So I would like you to be aware of this, and this is where the technology grows here. Now I'm almost 15 minutes. I'm going to skip this slide and later come back if we have a time. So please join this industry, and there is a plenty of opportunities. That is a message out of it. So I would like to share some few tips for you. If you join the industry, of course, technical is one area. You can become a technical expert, but people handling is more of a opportunity for growth. And technical expertise is always a commodity, and it can be disposed, it can be hired. But a good people manager is always a asset for the company. So once you join, I would always advise the young engineers, please volunteer to be a leader and don't be shy. Break the ice and go ahead, move with the people, volunteer yourself to be a leader. Then the other day, Mr. Sundaram have well explained that you should drive for a passion, always have a backup passion for you. 2 opportunities is always better than 1 opportunity. So keep on looking for better things to learn and keep your eyes open for new opportunities always. And finally, pay attention to your physical and mental health, because given my experience, it's really important to have a sustained career growth. You need to have a good physical and mental health. There'll be a lot of stress in your career that you need to balance work as well as your career growth. So do a good exercise, have a good friendship. Whenever you're in trouble, always share your mind issues with a good friend, and develop good friendships when you're studying right now there, like what we have now in this alumni association. Really, I have developed a lot of good friends. So like it's always, life is beautiful. Have a good friendship so that you can share your stresses with your friends. And I'd like to have a good wish for all of you. And that's my presentation end. I would like to transfer back to Mahendra, or the coordinator. Thank you. Ms. Aarti, you can take over.
Yes, sir. Mr. M. Ayyappan is from the batch of 1992, Electronics and Instrumentation Engineering. He has more than 28 years of experience in the power and oil and gas industries. He is currently working in the area of gas compressor and turbine automation in Siemens Energy Singapore as Principal Instrument Engineer. Prior to Siemens, he worked with Yokohama Engineering Singapore and Seether Vessels India. We now request him to guide us on the career opportunities in Singapore.
Everybody, you're on mute.
Okay. You're able to see Rams? Able to hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Please put it in full screen, Ayyappan.
Okay. Oh, new share. I put it as okay. Clear now?
No, just go to slideshow and then make it.
I'm in the slideshow only. 1 minute. Actually, slideshow. Okay, I put it in the full screen. Okay.
Yeah. Now okay.
ஸோ எல்லாரும் நான் தமிழில் கொஞ்சம் பேசணும்னு சொல்லி கேட்டுக்கிட்டாங்க. ஸோ அதனால் நான் முடிஞ்ச அளவுக்கு தமிழில் ட்ரை பண்ணுறேன். ஸோ மகேந்திரகுமாருக்கு நன்றி. இது எங்களுக்கு எல்லாருக்கும் ஒரு ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி கொடுத்து உங்களை எல்லாரையும் ஜூனியர்ஸ் எல்லாரையும் இந்த வழியாக மீட் பண்ண வச்சதுக்கு. அதே மாதிரி எங்களோட ராமசாமி சொன்ன மாதிரி எங்களோட டீச்சர்ஸ், எங்களுக்கு நடத்தினவங்க, பாடம் நடத்தின எல்லா டீச்சர்ஸுக்கும் நன்றி. அதே மாதிரி இப்போ இருக்க வைஸ் சான்சலர் மிஸ்டர் முருகேசன் and Dean Faculty of Engineering Dr. A. Murugappan, and also Mr. Dhanasekaran, the placement officer, and also என்ன இன்ட்ரடியூஸ் பண்ண ராதிகா, ஆர்த்தியா ராதிகா பேர் தெரியல, அவங்களுக்கும் நன்றி 2 பேருக்கும். ஸோ இன்னைக்கு ஜென்ரலாக வந்து எல்லாருமே வந்து டிஃப்ரெண்ட் ஃபீல்டை பற்றி எல்லாருமே எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. ஸோ ஐ ஜஸ்ட் வாண்டட் டு டெல், நான் வந்து என்னென்னா சிங்கப்பூருக்கு நீங்கள் ஏன் மாஸ்டர் படிக்க வரலாம் அப்படிங்கிறத பற்றி ஜஸ்ட்டு சொல்லலாம் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தேன். ஸோ ஃபஸ்ட்டு சிங்கப்பூரோட அட்வான்டேஜ் என்னங்கிறத உங்களுக்கு ஜஸ்ட் எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணுறேன். ஸோ நான் வந்து அது இங்கிலீஷில் உள்ளதை ஃபுல்லாக படிக்கலை. ஸோ ஐ ஜஸ்ட் தமிழ்லேயே சொல்கிறேன் அதை. ஸோ நீங்கள் மாஸ்டர் டிகிரி படிக்கிறது வந்து இட் இஸ் வெரி மச் குட் ஃபார் அவங்களோட ஃபியூச்சருக்கு. அது வந்து அதுவும் நீங்கள் வந்து இந்தியாலையும் படிக்கலாம், சிங்கப்பூரில் படிக்கலாம், ஆஸ்திரேலியாவில் படிக்கலாம், யூஎஸ்ஏல படிக்கலாம். எல்லாருமே அதுக்குள்ள ஸ்டெப்ஸ் எல்லாம் இப்போ எடுத்திருப்பீங்க. பட் அட்வான்டேஜ் என்ன சிங்கப்பூர்னா, இட் இஸ் நம்ம நியர் டு சென்னை அண்ட் அதர் கண்டிஷன்ஸ். ஐ வில் ஜஸ்ட் எக்ஸ்பிளைன் இன் இங்கிலீஷ். Firstly, I would like to start why Singapore is good destination for international students. Singapore is a very small country. As you know, it is by 40 kilometer by 70 kilometer. But still, we have all the opportunities here. Secondly, Singapore's standard of education is almost the best in the world. and the two of the highest ranking university globally, NUS and NTU, is 11th ranked in 2019, is in Singapore. I think yesterday, our colleague Mudavali, she's working in NUS. She has already explained. So I think I'm late by one day. சிங்கப்பூர் என்னன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இது ஒரு மல்டி கல்ச்சுரல் சொசைட்டி. இங்கே வந்து முஸ்லிம்ஸ், சைனீஸ், தமிழ் அண்ட் இங்கிலீஷ் 4 லாங்குவேஜ் இருக்குது. பட் அஃபிஷியல் லாங்குவேஜ் இஸ் ஸ்டில் இங்கிலீஷ். அண்ட் சிங்கப்பூர் இன்னொன்று என்ன சொல்லணும்னா வெதர் கண்டிஷன். இங்கே வந்து சம்மர், வின்டர் அது மாதிரில ஆல்வேஸ் இட் இஸ் சம்மர். நார்மல் டெம்பரேச்சர் இஸ் பிட்வீன் 25 to 30 degrees. ஸோ உங்களுக்கு மாதிரி இந்த குளிர்கால ட்ரெஸ்ஸோ அது மாதிரி எதுவுமே தேவையில்லை, விச் இஸ் ஒன் ஆஃப் த அட்வான்டேஜ் ஆஃப் சிங்கப்பூர். ஸோ நீங்கள் எப்படி சிதம்பரத்தில் இருக்கிற மாதிரி இருக்கீங்களோ அதே மாதிரி தான் சிங்கப்பூரை ஃபீல் பண்ணுவீங்க. இன்ஃபேக்ட் இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் ஹாட்டாகவே ஃபீல் பண்ணுவீங்க. அண்ட் NUSல நேற்று அவங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி there are 2 intakes. One is in August, other வந்து is in January. So August oda intake ku you should have started applying already. If not late, it is not late, still you can apply in December. And the number of courses ella na அடுத்த slides-la காமிக்கிறேன். You can make number of applications. No limitation to the application, but each application will be given a unique number, but you can join only one course in any of the university. That is what is the constraint. So the higher education in Singapore, there are so many other universities for arts and science. So basically these 3 are for engineering: National University of Singapore, Nanyang Technological University, and Singapore Institute of Technology. So admission, like one advantage for Indian students is that if you have got a good GATE score, you can directly go for the admission. I'll just tell you the criteria, what is it behind it. So GATE exam in எல்லாரும் முடிச்சிருப்பீங்க. ஜென்ரலா February மாசத்துல வரும். So and also I just wanted to சொல்ல எவ்வளோ எக்ஸ்பெண்டிச்சர் ஆகும் அப்படின்னு நீங்கள் கொஞ்சம் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, ஜென்ரலாக வந்து நீங்கள் கோர்ஸ் ஃபீஸ் அடுத்து சொல்கிறேன். அதுக்கு முன்னாடி வந்து கோர்ஸ் ஃபீ நெக்ஸ்ட் சைடில் போட்டிருக்கேன். அதுக்கு முன்னாடி ஜென்ரல் எக்ஸ்பெண்டிச்சர் எப்படின்னா, நீங்கள் வந்து அக்காமடேஷன் வந்து நம்ம சேம் நீங்கள் ஹாஸ்டலில் தங்கலாம், இல்லை வந்து நம்ம மாரியப்பா நகரில் தங்குற மாதிரி வெளியே தங்கலாம். ஸோ இஃப் கேம்பஸில் தங்குறதா இருந்தீங்கன்னா இட் இஸ் அரௌண்ட் $300 to $800. வெளியே தங்குறதா இருந்து ரூம் எடுத்து உங்களோட தங்குறதா இருந்தால் இட் இஸ் அரௌண்ட் $500 to $1,200. ஃபுட்டு அதே மாதிரி கேம்பஸுக்குள்ளேயே நிறைய கேன்டீன் எல்லாமே இருக்குது. கேம்பஸில் வந்து பண்ணிங்கன்னா அரௌண்ட் $400. அவுட் சைட் பண்ணிங்கன்னா $400 to $800. பப்ளிக் டிரான்ஸ்போர்ட் கேம்பஸுக்குள்ளே இருந்தால் அஃப்கோர்ஸ் நான் டெய்லி காலேஜுக்கு போகிறதுக்கு பப்ளிக் டிரான்ஸ்போர்ட் தேவையில்லை. பட் நீங்கள் மிச்சம் வீக்கெண்ட்ஸில் போகிறதுக்கு ஒரு கேம்பஸ் இன் கேம்பஸ் தங்கினா $150. ஸோ அவுட் சைடாக இருந்தால் டெய்லி யூ டு டேக் அ பஸ். ஸோ டிரான்ஸ்போர்ட்டேஷன் கொஞ்சம் காஸ்ட்லி. ஸோ இட் வில் பி அரௌண்ட் $200 to $300. அது மாதிரி மிச்ச செலவு புக்ஸு, ஸ்டேஷ்னரி கேம்பஸில் இருந்தால் வந்து ஒரு $200 to $350. ஆஃப் த கேம்பஸ் வந்து ஒரு $200 to $300 போட்டிருக்கேன். ஸோ தென் பர்சனல் எக்ஸ்பெண்டிச்சர் லைக் டெலிகம்யூனிகேஷன் அதர் திங்ஸ் வந்து ஒரு மாதத்துக்கு வந்து கேம்பஸில் இருந்தால் $250 to $350. ஆஃப் த கேம்பஸ் இருந்தீங்கன்னா $250 to $350. நோ பிக் சேஞ்ச் இன் தட். அப்புறம் வந்து ஆன் கேம்பஸ் ஸோ ரஃபாக வந்து ஒரு டோட்டல் பண்ணி பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஆன் கேம்பஸ் வந்து இன்னும் வந்து உங்களுக்கு 1000 நல்ல ரொம்ப கரெக்டாக இல்லை இருந்தீங்கன்னா $1,100 to $2,000 required. ஆஃப் த கேம்பஸ் இருந்தால் $1,500 to $3,000 required. ஸோ த அப்ளிகேஷன் வந்து ஆகஸ்ட் இன்டேக்கு வந்து லேட் ஜனவரி. ஸோ லாஸ்ட் ஜனவரியில் ஆல்ரெடி முடிஞ்சிருக்கும், அன்டில் லாஸ்ட் February வரைக்கும் இருந்திருக்கு. ஸோ இந்த ஆகஸ்ட் இன்டேக் யூ கேனாட் அப்ளை. ஸோ த கமிங் ஜனவரி இன்டேக் யூ கேன் அப்ளை. ஸோ ஜூலை அன்டில் லேட் ஆகஸ்ட் த அப்ளிகேஷன்ஸ் ஆர் ஓப்பன், யூ கேன் ஸ்டில் அப்ளை ஃபார் இட். ஸோ the eligibility is a good performance in bachelor's degree and also a good 90 percentile in their GATE. So if you are getting that, you can directly apply in both the universities, NUS and NTU. And the tuition fees ranging is from $10,000 to $18,000, which is approximately around 3 to 5 lakhs. ஸோ உங்களுக்கு எல்லாருக்கும் ஒரு ஐடியா கிடைச்சிருக்கும் எவ்வளோ ரஃபாக செலவாகும் அப்படிங்கிறது. ஒரு ஸோ மாஸ்டர் டிகிரி இஸ் அரௌண்ட் 18 months. ஸோ நீங்கள் கேல்குலேட் பண்ணிக்கிங்க. இதான் வந்து டிஃப்ரெண்ட் ப்ரோக்ராம்ஸ் அவைலபிள் வந்து. ஸோ மாஸ்டர் ஆஃப் சயின்ஸ் இன் கெமிக்கல் இன்ஜினியரிங், மாஸ்டர் ஆஃப் சயின்ஸ் இன் சிவில், மாஸ்டர் ஆஃப் சயின்ஸ் எலக்ட்ரிக்கல், மாஸ்டர் ஆஃப் சயின்ஸ் என்விரான்மெண்டல், இண்டஸ்ட்ரியல் அண்ட் சிஸ்டம்ஸ் இன்ஜினியரிங், மாஸ்டர் ஆஃப் சயின்ஸ் மெட்டீரியல் சயின்ஸ் அண்ட் இன்ஜினியரிங், மாஸ்டர் ஆஃப் சயின்ஸ் மெக்கானிக்கல், மாஸ்டர் ஆஃப் சயின்ஸ் சேஃப்டி ஹெல்த் அண்ட் என்விரான்மெண்டல், then master of science in supply chain management, master of science geotechnical, and master of science in intellectual property, and Master of Science in Management Technology and Master of Science in Maritime Technology and Management. ஸோ இதுக்கெல்லாம் என்ன பேசிக் ரெக்குயர்மெண்ட் அவங்க இன்ஜினியரிங் பேக்ரவுண்ட் டிகிரி என்ன இருக்கணுங்கிறது நீங்கள் வெப்சைட்டில் போனீங்கன்னா கண்டுபிடிக்கலாம். சப்போஸ் ஜியோ டெக்னிக்கலாக இருந்தால் யூ நீட் டு பி a சிவில் இன்ஜினியர் ஆர் மெக்கானிக்கல் இன்ஜினியர் அப்படிங்கிறது எலக்ட்ரிக்கல் விச் ஹஸ் காட் த மோர் இம்பார்ட்டன்ஸுங்கிறது அதில் நீங்கள் வெப்சைட்டில் போய் பார்த்துக்கலாம். நான் வெப்சைட் லிங்க் உங்களுக்கு இப்போ போட்டிருக்கேன். ஓகே, சப்போஸ் next step is like I just want you more of the people to come to Singapore. So if you are not coming for education and if you want to come for Singapore வேலை பார்க்க வரணும்னு நினைச்சீங்கன்னா சிங்கப்பூர்ல பேசிக்கலா வரணும்னா 2 டைப் ஆஃப் பாஸ் இருக்கு, எம்ப்ளாய்மெண்ட் பாஸ் அண்ட் எஸ் பாஸ். ஸோ எம்ப்ளாய்மெண்ட் பாஸ் என்னன்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஃபாரின் ப்ரொஃபஷனல்ஸுக்கு மினிமம் தே நீட் டு கெட் அ சேலரி ஆஃப் $4,500, ஸோ விச் இஸ் அரௌண்ட் 2.5 lakhs அரௌண்ட் தட். ஸோ அது இருந்தாங்கன்னா உங்களுக்கு எம்ப்ளாய்மெண்ட் பாஸ் கிடைக்கும். எம்ப்ளாய்மெண்ட் பாஸ் கிடைச்சா யூ கேன் பிரிங் யுவர் ஃபேமிலி. ஓகே, நவ் யூ ஆர் ஆல் பேச்சுலர், ஸோ யூ கேன் பி ஸ்டே ஹியர். அதர்வைஸ் இன்னொன்று ஸ்பெஷல் பாஸ்ன்னு இருக்கு. திஸ் இஸ் அ மிட் லெவல் அனதர் பாஸ் வேர் த கம்பெனி வந்து உங்களுக்காண்டி லிவி கட்டுவாங்க கவர்மெண்ட்டுக்கு $300. ஸோ இதுக்கு வந்து $2,500 சம்பளம் இருந்தால் போதும். This is a basic requirement. அது இல்லாமல் as அமுதவல்லி was highlighting yesterday, வந்து நீங்கள் வந்து ஃப்ரெஷ் கிராஜுவேட் வந்து வரதா இருந்தால் லோக்கல் யூனிவர்சிட்டி ஃப்ரெஷ் கிராஜுவேட்ஸ் ஹஸ் காட் மோர் ப்ரிஃபரன்ஸ் ஃபாரினர்ஸ் வரத்துக்கு. ஸோ நீங்கள் அப்படி வரதா இருந்தால் இந்தியாவிலேருந்து எப்படின்னா இப்போ எல்லாமே ஒரு சிஸ்டம் இன்ஜினியரிங் கம்பெனியோ சாஃப்ட்வேர் கம்பெனியோ பார்த்தீங்கன்னா பேக் எண்ட் வந்து இந்தியாவில் வச்சிருக்காங்க. ஸோ அங்கேருந்து டெலிகேஷன் விசாவில் ஆன் அ ஷார்ட் விசா யுவர் கம்பெனி கேன் அப்ளை ஷார்ட் விசா அண்ட் யூ கேன் கம் அண்ட் ஒர்க் இன் சிங்கப்பூர் ஃபார் 6 months, but you have to go back. But there is opportunity for you to come as a fresh graduate also. But of course you have your skill sets, everything, then you can come. இந்த எம்ப்ளாய்மெண்ட் பாஸ் இது வந்து ரொம்ப நார்மல். ஜென்ரலாக வந்து இப்போ கம்பெனி நீங்கள் ஒரு எம்ப்ளாய்மெண்ட் கிடைச்சிது, ஜென்ரலாக சென்னையிலையோ பாம்பேலையோ டெல்லியிலையோ இன்டர்வியூ வைக்கிறாங்க. இஃப் யூ ஆர் கெட்டிங், then it takes 2 weeks time for the employment pass approval and they give you another 1 month for you to come to Singapore. ஓகே, ஸோ பேசிக்கலாக வந்து அடுத்தது வந்து இதான் சிங்கப்பூரை பற்றி நான் ஜஸ்ட் பேசிக்காக எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணேன். ஸோ பேசிக்கலாக அடுத்தது வந்து என்னோட ஃபீல்ட் ஆஃப் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸை பற்றி நான் கொஞ்சம் சொல்லணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். ஸோ எர்லியர் என்னோட ஃப்ரெண்டு செந்தில்குமார் அவங்கெல்லாம் சொல்லியிருந்தாங்க ஆயில் அண்ட் கேஸில் என்ன இருக்குது, அப்ஸ்ட்ரீம், மிட் ஸ்ட்ரீம் அண்ட் டவுன் ஸ்ட்ரீம் அப்படின்னு. அப்ஸ்ட்ரீம்னா வேர் நேச்சுரல் கேஸ் அண்ட் ஆயில் எல்லாமே எக்ஸ்ட்ராக்ட் பண்ணுறோம் கிரவுண்ட்லேருந்து. ஸோ ஜென்ரலி இது வந்து ஆஃப் ஷோரில் இருக்க போகுது. அதுக்கடுத்து மிட் ஸ்ட்ரீமில் வந்து என்னென்னா வந்து ஹவு த ஆயில் அண்ட் கேஸ் இஸ் டிரான்ஸ்போர்ட்டட் from offshore to onshore because the refineries are all in onshore. And downstream is where the crude oil is extracted or the gas is treated and is being made as a final product for us to use as a petrol, diesel and all other petrochemical products. So now on the midstream where it is like transporting crude oil வந்து வெளியிலேருந்து எடுத்ததை வந்து FPSO அப்படின்னா FPSOங்கிறது வந்து floating production and storage offloading. That is the meaning of FPSO. So what they do is the old ships, they convert it into a process facility, and when the crude oil is taken from the well, so they will extract all the dirt and everything. The gas and oil will be separated separately, and all that chemicals to add and separations will be done in the FPSO itself. After FPSO, it is stored in the FPSO hull. Then later it is transported to onshore through some ship or tankers. So I'm just explaining what is an FPSO. FPSO is a converted tanker or a purpose-built vessel, maybe a ship-shaped multi-hull production unit. Hydrocarbon facilities are all installed on board. Then process well streams fluids into oil, LPG and LNG. Processes the well stream. So ஒரு வெல்லுன்னு எடுத்துட்டீங்கன்னா அதில் ஆயில் வரும், LPG வரும், LNG வரும். ஸோ எல்லாமே அங்கே ப்ராசஸ் பண்ணி then we transport it out. What is the benefit of FPSO to the normal well is FPSO is a moving because it is a ship. I can move to different locations. ஜென்ரலாக வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு வெல்லில் வந்து ஆயில் எடுக்கிறது எக்ஸ்ட்ராக்ஷன் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு வெல்ல எப்போ பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா ஒரு 10 years இருக்க மாதிரி தான் பண்ணுவாங்க. பட் FPSO what we are building is the lifetime is around 20 to 25 years. So after one of the well becomes dry, so generally if the properties are matching, I can move the FPSO to another location and start doing the production there. So இந்த FPSO என்னங்கிறது ஜஸ்ட் நான் உங்களுக்கு காமிக்கிறேன் ஷிப்பில், where you can just see. ஓகே, இதான் வந்து இந்த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் படத்தில் இருக்கிறது பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இதான் சப்சி வெல்லுலேருந்து ஆல் த அம்பிலிக்கல்ஸ் வில் கனெக்டட் டு த ஷிப் and oil and gas is extracted into the ship. The ship-குள்ள பார்த்தீங்கன்னா you can see the modules. These are all mechanical process modules. Then power generation, because இது வந்து கடலுக்கு நடுவில் இருக்க போகுது. ஸோ அது எடுக்கிற கேஸே வச்சு we generate power for the ship. Starting வந்து they will do with the diesel. To start, once gas is extracted, the gas is processed, because gas will have water and other impurities. All the impurities will be removed. So then this gas will be processed to run a generator, gas turbine generator inside the FPSO, and FPSO will get the power. So then all other process modules are done. Then later, through other LNG tankers or normal tankers, this oil or the gas will be transported from FPSO to the onshore. In some places, if the distance is very less, like 100 meters or 200 meters, there are even pipelines also available. Okay. So this is, I just want to explain about my field of experience. So there is a lot of, here we have the requirement for process engineer, electrical engineer, instrumentation engineer, structural engineer, safety, everybody comes in picture. Okay. Then I also wanted to explain Annamalai University Alumni Association, which is called as AAA in Singapore. So thanks to our seniors, thanks especially senior civil engineers. They have done a good job in Singapore, and they have done a lot of MRT projects here. And Annamalai University inga vandu nalla name irukku. So Annamalai University Alumni Association, they have around 1,500 life members. And there are many other people, but some are joining, some are like a normal members. So I'm just taking only consideration of life members. And the association வந்து இங்க ரொம்ப ஆக்டிவா இருக்கு. They call every now due to pandemic, maybe we are only meeting online. Otherwise, there are so many community events, family events, just get together. இந்த இதுல வந்து we are able to meet seniors, get their advice. So நிறைய business எல்லாமே டெவலப் பண்றதுக்கு Annamalai Alumni Association is doing a good job here. And நீங்க as a student வந்தீங்கன்னா, we will invite you, and you can always a part of it. And Singapore, we have a lot of industries. So I'm just giving you brief where you can fit in Singapore. So of course, oil and gas, I'm working there. So I just put oil and gas as a priority. So you have a lot of opportunities. Then next is the renewable energy. So this is also a big market in Singapore now. Like where with the renewable energy is like they call green energy, right? So we have solar power, windmills in onshore, windmills in offshore. Then we also have bioenergy. Then same civil and structural has got a lot of opportunity for eco buildings and a lot of MRT projects coming up. Then we have semiconductor, like most of my friends are explaining you about semiconductor. So we have design and we have manufacturing, we have pharmaceuticals, we have chemical plants. Then shipping and logistics also very big in Singapore. Software development, banking and finance, like a lot of IT companies, computer science engineers are now coming into banking and finance sector. Then marine industry, we have a lot of fleet managers, marine surveyors, and of course Singapore is one of the biggest hub for the marine industry. Then cyber security professionals, the cyber security, because a lot of ITs are coming, so everybody is using mobile and all other online systems, so cyber security is becoming more popular in Singapore. Then we need network engineers, then data analytics, then digital marketing is also becoming grooming in Singapore. Then building automation. So building automation is basically access control system, fire safety, then CCTV cameras, so many other things. And we also have digital industries. Now this is a big market now. All the electrical plant are all being converted into digital industry to get more data to maintain the preventive maintenance and maintenance. அந்த மாதிரி நிறைய டேட்டா எடுக்கிறதுக்கு இந்த டிஜிட்டல் இண்டஸ்ட்ரீஸும் ரொம்ப யூஸ்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்குது இப்போ. So later நீ ஏதாவது questions இருந்தா we can come. So 15 minutes of my time is over. So I just conclude my presentation with this. Later I can answer your questions. Thank you all. Radhika or Aarti, you can take over and give to next person. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Mr. Kasi Dhurai is also from the batch of 1992, and he has spent almost 28 years in the field of electronic component manufacturing. Earlier, he has worked for 17 years with Seagate Industries, Malaysia, in the field of manufacturing engineering. Currently working as Senior Manufacturing of Assembly Operations at Qualcomm, Singapore, he is also certified Six Sigma Black Belt. We now request him to guide us on the career opportunities in Singapore.
Can you see my screen?
No, not at Kasi.
Not yet. Share content screen. On the screen, should I use screen broadcast? Start broadcast, okay.
Yeah.
Oops, something is not right.
No, Kazi, only you just need to share screen, Kazi.
I did share the screen.
The green button.
Yeah. And then I share, then it comes out with asking me screen broadcast or what, you know. Can you see?
No, Kazi.
Should I share for you?
Yeah, please, huh? Rather than holding everyone.
Yeah.
I don't mind, yeah.
Is it okay?
Okay, thank you. Okay, my full name is Kasi Nadat Dhurai. I graduated in 1992 from mechanical and production engineering. First of all, I'd like to thank my teachers who has given me the fullest of the knowledge that has positioned me what I'm at today. And I also would like to thank the Vice Chancellor, Mr. Murugesan, the Faculty of Engineering and Technology, the Dean, Mr. Murugappan, and the Placement Officer, Mr. Dhanashekar, and the team behind this today's Ignite session, Mahendra and the team. Thank you all for the excellent work in setting up this session. Okay, I believe definitely this batch has the fullest of opportunities available or exposure on such a kind of knowledge sharing. Okay, so I have just to give a brief thing. I'm currently working as a senior manager of assembly operations at Qualcomm Singapore. I'm attached to this organization for the past 10 years. Prior to this, I was working at Seagate Malaysia for about 17 years. So altogether, it's about 27, 28 years. Okay, let's move on to the, so all of my experience or work has been in the field of manufacturing, electronic manufacturing services. Okay, Mahendra, can I control the page? Oh, sorry, okay. Yep, next slide. Yep. So electronic contract manufacturing, this is one of the recent news that came out in December 2020. The electronic contract manufacturing is expected to grow by 6-folds by 2025 in India. There's a huge potential for this electronic manufacturing. This is was posted in the Economic Times, a newspaper. Probably you guys can go back and refer to. Okay, and who are the top players in this contract manufacturing? The first one is obviously Foxconn. Foxconn builds modules for multiple OEM customers. OEM is original equipment manufacturers like Apple or Samsung or whoever those top players today. I think because primarily we are talking about smartphones, I think that's the biggest market today. okay, but not limiting to that. Okay. Number 2 is Pegatron, Jabil circuits. I believe Jabil is also in India. Flextronics. Okay. Next is Vistron. Okay. Sanmina and so on. Okay. So there are many players in this. They are typically like contract manufacturers. They make the product for those big companies, like Apple. They don't own factories, they don't own fabs. They design and then give these designs to this kind of companies, contract manufacturers. So giving them all those criterias and the process, everything belongs to Apple or those kind of OEM companies. And the job of these contract manufacturers is just to produce to the quality standards required by those OEM companies. Okay, so there's a huge opportunity. Which engineering field of engineering? I think it's every field of engineering can find job opportunity here, like mechanical. Like they have facilities department, like the whole plant has to be maintained, the facility systems, air conditioned systems, all those things. Mechanical engineers, civil engineers will find application to it. Chemical engineer, a lot of these companies work in, this is a clean room environment. You have different classroom standards, 100K classroom, 1000K or whatever kind of different classroom standards. So, clean room setup and chemicals, all these things will require chemical engineers. Electronic engineers or electrical engineers will find, opportunities in terms of designs, product designs and things like that. And, like tool designs. There are multiple opportunities available in this field as well. Okay, so please be open and there's great potential to grow as well. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so what should we expect? What are the challenges? Every industry has its own set of challenges. And one of the biggest challenges in this field is that typically the product cycles are very short in electronic industry. Like if you take handphones, you will see a model just like 6 months after that, it will get replaced with another new model. So, as a company, they need to stay ahead of the competition. They need to come up with new products. If you are in the design, you need to be very creative and innovative to come up with new products of the latest technologies and standards to stay competitive, at the same time, cost effective. If you look at, these computer and today the smartphone industry, the price erosion rate is very high. You will see a 2-digit price erosion. So I mean, the consumer always want the product at a cheaper price. So the manufacturer has to think of how to bring down the cost so that you maintain your revenue or the margin. So that is the challenge. So how to stay in the competition? There are a few things to be, to be looked into. We need to adopt the latest technologies, okay? And Singapore continues to attract and bring new technologies, okay? Value-added technologies, So wafer fabrication is one of the fields, front-end technology in semiconductor manufacturing, so which has very high value. And there's a lot of intellectual property and cyber security things that Singapore assures the investors. And this is one of the reasons why Singapore stays to be a very attractive place for investment. When you talk about intellectual property, if you have design engineers, you are spending a lot of money and time in coming up with new designs. So it is important, the know-how, the knowledge behind it. So it's important to protect those know-hows. This is exactly what's happening in China. If you go out, the know-hows get out to the local makers. They can immediately duplicate and come up with their own product. So you lose your competitiveness, and all those knowledge has already stolen away. So intellectual property is a key thing, and that differentiates Singapore from the rest of the world. Okay, and high volume, typically semiconductor industry. These are all high volume. They are talking about producing millions of products a day. Okay, so what does it matter? Every day matters. If you have a quality issue or something need to be improved, improvement needed is today, or even people say they need it yesterday. You can't say, give me 1 week time. That means within 1 week, you're going to be churning out millions of products, and all these things are going to go into the garbage. So that's why in this industry, the time to react, come up with solution is very, very important. Okay, there's a high product mix, so that means how do you control? How do you systemize it? System controls, automation. I think those are all key things in this industry. Okay, quality and cost, customer confidence level, increases with the quality. I think this is something that everyone knows. People don't go, if a product is of poor quality, people are not going to buy. Okay, so it's very, very important that we build quality into our product. Okay, so lastly is the profitability. Everybody is doing things in order to stay profitable and competitive. So when you are in this kind of manufacturing, typically the products will be transferred from design to mass pro in a very short period of time, and the yields will be typically kind of very low. So it is a challenge of these manufacturing folks to mature the product, to bring the yield of the product high, so that we can quickly gain on the margins. If we are running with poor yield, that means our revenues or margin is actually lower. So that is why, because the product cycle we are talking about here is only 6 months to 1 year. So if we don't have much time left, we really have to run, so no time to stand and pause. Okay, so these are some of the challenges to look forward, not limiting to, but these are some of the challenges to look forward if you are, taking a step into the manufacturing. Next slide, please. Okay, this is giving you some idea of what is this electronic contract manufacturing. Has different products in it. Healthcare products, also people call it as medical products. It can be medical equipments, apparatus, all those stuff. Automotive industries. Okay, today I think if you guys know, people are talking about autonomous vehicle. You know how smartphones are evolving and changing the lives of the people. The automotive industry is looked upon as the next change, where your driverless cars, so it's already happening, it's coming already. So there are many players in that, if you know. So a lot of those electronics is going into cars and automotive industry. Industrial, aerospace. Okay, a lot of these semiconductor product components also getting in. All those aerospace is going to the space and all the stuff. IT and telecommunication is one of the biggest. I think this is the one talking about the smartphones. It's still a very big industry. If you know BRIC, BRIC, Brazil, Russia, India, and China, these are the developing countries. upcoming developing countries where smartphone market is still very huge. People are adopting into smartphones. Not everyone has smartphone yet in these countries. So these are the markets to grow, okay? Next is power and energy, consumer electronics, and others, okay? So India, a telecom EMS market size, okay, this is exactly showing how India is seen to grow in terms of this market size, capital for this electronic manufacturing, okay? And one of the new things and new buzzword in this electronic contract manufacturing is Industry 4.0, okay? So this is really changing the whole industry. It is good that, yeah, you kind of, pick up some knowledge on this Industry 4.0. So what is inside this Industry 4.0? It's talking about real-time control. I mean, your machines are connected to the systems, so there's a constant feedback loop and making corrections, not requiring any human intervention to correct the problem. So these are all like automatic feedback systems. Next is the Internet of Things. I think you might have heard of IoT. That's another big thing. Big data and analytics. Okay, there's a huge amount of data. When you come to this kind of manufacturing, there's a huge amount of tons and tons of data being thrown out. How do we automate it? How do we use the data in the shortest period of time and to use it for good analytics and come up with solutions or some innovative things, okay? And lastly is the robotics and automation, okay? So robotics is I think people are talking about AIs today, right? So this is another thing, part of the Industry 4.0, okay? So let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so to summarize it, so what is needed? I think we all have the engineering degree already, the university from our 4 years course at university, we have already learned the basics, okay? The physics and the chemistry of all those things, okay? So how are we going to use that, okay, into the work that we do? So in manufacturing, it's important that we understand the physics, how it works, or the chemistry behind how it reacts and affects a quality or influences a quality. So this is where our engineering knowledge is going to come. And when it comes to tool designs, you'll be dealing with some of the tool designers. How do you understand the engineering drawings, tool drawings, interpret those, and what kind of material? So there's a lot of scope in all these things, huh? Okay, and I think just that engineering degree might not be enough. I think it's important that we pick up some of the soft skills and the hard skills. I'll be showing what are those soft skills that we are talking about. I'm showing here about 5 of those soft skills. Lean Six Sigma. Under this Lean Six Sigma, they are talking about lean manufacturing, supply chain, and there is also a so-called Six Sigma black belt, okay? So all those things fall under this Lean Six Sigma, okay? It's good if we have some skills on Excel, Microsoft Excel, macros, if you know how to write macros that can help to crunch your data, come up with some very nice, meaningful charts. And then similarly, SQL queries, if you can do some little bit of programming to pull the data so that, you can run those queries while you're doing some other work in parallel. Design of experiments, this is another tool, okay? And lastly is a statistical analysis tool. There are multiple statistical analysis tools people call JMP or Minitab and different kind of tools. So those are all analytical tools. If you pick up some of these, will be really helpful in positioning yourself, you know, when it comes to your job, and leverage yourself from the rest of the competition. Okay. And lastly, speed and team effort. Okay. There is no superhero here in this field. Okay. Because you want to be a superhero, solve everything by yourself, I think you will be lost. I think teamwork is very, very critical, because you know, when you have a team of people, you're going to have multiple ideas churned out in a shortest period of time, and we can find the best solution, come up with the best idea. So teamwork and collaboration are very key, and speed. You know, as I mentioned, they won solution yesterday, kind of thing. You know, not 1 week later. So that is the biggest challenge in this manufacturing, contract manufacturing. Okay, so I think that basically brings to the end. I think I'm ending up here. I do not have any more stuff to share. So I wish you all a great future. This is certainly a good field to choose. There's a lot of potential. Please keep your doors open, and look for, you know, take up this challenge. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. S. Kasi has almost 15 years of project management and 10 years of project planning experience. He manages fire alarm system projects for various types of industries like pharmaceuticals, solar panel manufacturing, petrochemical, paint manufacturing, apart from buildings, data centers, high-rise commercial buildings, MRT stations, and tunnels. He is also into project planning for MRT projects like metro station and tunnel construction, metro trains manufacturing and testing, signaling, and platform screen door system. He is currently the project planning manager in Alstom Transport Singapore. We now request him to guide us on the career opportunities in Singapore.
Kasi, you're muted, Kasi. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I want to share the screen, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
1 minute. Okay.
There's a green button at the bottom, Kasi.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Yes.
The voice is audible?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start. Thanks. Okay, thanks for giving this opportunity to talk to our juniors, to just help them or guide them where the opportunities or what kind of fields available for them. And before that, I would like to thank our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Murugesan, and our Dean, Mr. A. Murugappan, and the Placement Officer, Mr. Dhanasegar. And it's a great effort by Magendra and his team to bring us together to communicate with the Annamalai University, our favorite place actually. It's like so. It's like thanks for them, and also I would like to thank my professors like Mr. Nair, Palani, Ramasamy, Bhaskaran, and Kumarappan, like to give us to make us grow in the field. Okay, and I'll start my presentation on this. Okay, so basically I'm from electrical engineering, 1992 batch, electrical electronics engineering. So my focus more here is on the electrical electronics field and mechanical, some parts of mechanical fields. Okay, mostly the engineering graduates, normally we try for very big companies, but there is a lot of stiff competition to enter and go there. But apart from that, you should also know there are a lot of other good companies which are offering very good products. And some products you may think is very small, but once you enter the field, you can know it's not one very small product. It's a very large, big products with the high-end technologies. There are few fields I have listed here, which are all have very good opportunities to grow for young graduates to enter the jobs and then to grow the career. So there are few systems which we don't know during when we do graduations and all. We are not aware of this kind of systems available or products available. So these are all the systems I can explain you on this. Fire alarm system, like you can see, maybe you see like everywhere you can see this fire alarm system, but you may see it's like a small, but it's a very big system which is applicable for a small to very large, and any type of industries or any types of buildings. All these systems are applicable everywhere, like fire alarm system, security systems, like access control system, and CCTV, the camera systems. And nowadays the newly evolving field is automated fire controls, air conditioning control systems, and fire protection systems. Like so you can search with these keywords and who are all the manufacturers of these products. You can find a lot of very good companies which is worldwide, and also they are positioned very well in India. So if you join one of these companies as a project engineer, then you have a lot of opportunities to grow. Like when you start, normally you start as a project engineer, then you do some kind of small installations, and then you can learn a lot of things. Project engineering is not just do installation. You need to arrange a lot of things. Like first thing is a design. You need to design what is required for the project. Then you need to arrange for the materials, like a procurement. Like you need a source for the materials. Then you need to do the arrange for all the material required for installation, like subcontractors or installation team to install. Then you do the commissioning of the system. Then after commissioning, you hand over and to the customer, make it operational and do servicing. So it's non-stop, like it's all of linked activities. And it can be of a small building or a multi-story building. Even if you see a shopping complex, it has a lot of systems which they need a lot of engineers to do it. If you like all the complex systems are very big. All the shopping complexes or theaters, or you talk about industries, any industry, small to big manufacturing plants, like petrochemical plants or hazardous processing plants, or a normal manufacturing plants like a paint manufacturing or any kind of manufacturing. All these systems are required. So you go as a product engineer, but the product is applicable to all the industries. Same for mechanical engineers, they can do a lot of piping for fire protection. All the high-rise buildings, all the factories are all need to be networked with the pipes, with the fire protection systems, with the gas protection, like a high, like electronics equipment rooms and all. We cannot use water in case of fire. So you need specialized chemicals to specialized gases to extinguish the fires. So the fire industry is a very high demand industry, but very useful, and it's applicable for all the industries. So once you go as a project engineers, you have many stepping stones. Like you develop as a design engineer or procurement, manufacturing, procurement engineer, installation engineer, TNC engineers, warranty and tendering, sales. Like you have a lot of fields opening. And so based on this, or with all this field of experience, you will be exposed to the middle management and management roles in the companies. And nowadays, all these products are technology-driven products. Like everything have an Internet of Things or communicated with the external systems. So everything need an engineer to do the programming or commissioning it, to configure the system to make it work. So this kind of field, you take note of it and you search and you can explore. To join any one of the companies, you can have a good opportunities to grow. Then once you grow into the same industry, specializing with almost 5 years or 10 years, you may be unknowingly doing some kind of planning, like planning for anything, installation planning or planning for materials. Or so then you have a new opportunity grows, like we call it the project planning. Nowadays, the big projects, they need dedicated planners to manage the project life cycle. Starting from tendering, during the tendering time, you estimate based on customer requirement, the project can be 1 year or up to 10 years. If, for example, like nowadays, a lot of metro stations are coming up. Those metro stations will take 10 years to build. From concept stage to operation stage, they need around 10 to 15 years. So the project planning will become a key role in those kind of projects. Even for petrochemical industries also, will be a long, around 5 years, 10 years, they need the plant to be operational. So this kind of project planning role, they need engineers to do the planning, but without any experience, they will not able to do the proper planning. So with kind of all the field experience you have, it can be of any systems, it can be electrical, mechanical, civil, of any industry, this project planning is a common tool applicable for all the industries. So over the period of time, wherever you work or wherever you join, you concentrate on the project planning side and you get all the necessary tools and experience. And over a period of time, once you come to the middle management level, this project planning will become a key role to you and a dedicated role. Sometimes you do multiple projects in a small industry, small systems. Then once come to big project planning, it's alone is a one person or multiple team will be handling it. Starting of the project to the end of the project, you should have all the visibility and communicate to the team as an overview, as a roadmap. Okay, this is our roadmap to the chart as an overall. Then individually, you have to communicate to the individual teams. Okay, this month you need to finish like this month, this kind of task. And you will have a lot of intermediate milestones to achieve, like delivery of major equipments and start installation or ordering the equipments. All those things you can cover in the project planning. So when you have time better, you can learn these tools, additional tools like Microsoft Project and Oracle Primavera P6. At least you can learn now, but you may not know the full potential now. But join the course, learn it, and learn the basic tasks and what are the things inside, what to learn, and how to operate the software, and how to use all the tools, and then you can have the knowledge. And if you add this certification to your resume, it will be an added advantage for you to be visible to the employer. So like project planning and Microsoft Project is quite easy to learn, and if you have time, you should learn it. So it will be easy, and then it's very good in your resume to add on. In addition to that, you should also learn AutoCAD to at least you know what is AutoCAD, what is the tool, how to prepare the drawings and everything. But as my previously Vijay Ravan rightly said, AutoCAD will be done by different draftsman teams or drafter teams. But at least you know the basics of AutoCAD will be easy for you to communicate to the team for developing your design. So these two tools are very important tools in the project planning. This will be help you in a long way over a period of time. So for me also, I joined as a fire alarm engineer, and I grow like a project manager or within 10 years to manage like multiple projects with a lot of industries. We'll get exposed to many industries like data centers. Data centers are nothing but high-rise buildings, but only housing the servers. It needs a lot of power and heat dissipations. So you need a lot of cooling systems and detection systems, fire alarm systems, CCTV, lot security systems. So every systems I have listed here will be applied in data centers or any big manufacturing plant. So you can explore on this line, and you can grab the opportunities on this. And so that's all my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So there are some queries to ask to you. Can I ask them?
Yes.
Can freshers try for job in Singapore directly?
Okay, for freshers, normally here is they are like lastly Ayyappan explained, there are few ways like S pass and employment pass. But when you're applying for that, okay, there are some job portals available here. You can refer to that. But freshers very difficult to enter because government they don't give passes for freshers. They need experienced people to enter. So at least they should have 1 or 2 years experience. Then explore the job web portals in Singapore. Then they have a chance to come in. Freshers, no, normally they don't take freshers.
So will doing masters in Singapore help us to get a job in Singapore?
Yes, really, that will help. Okay, once you do a master's, after that you will consider as a local graduate. So then it's like you are considering as a local, you will be able to get it.
Thank you.
Just to add, sorry. When you wanted to do masters, please select those government universities, which is the NUS and NTU. Okay, because there are also other twinning programs. Don't end up in any one of those twinning programs or things like that, which is not recognized end of the day. So please choose those government university programs.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Just to add on Kasi Dhurai, yes, there are a lot of other universities offering courses in Singapore, master courses, but that is not recognized as a local university course. So mainly you can check for NTU, NUS.
Mr. Kasidure has mentioned that now a lot of semiconductor industries are going to be set up in India. Do you think India will be a better option than Singapore for a good career growth in this industry?
I think to clarify, it's not Kasi Dhurai say. It is actually, it was posted in the Hindustan Times. The Indian government, I believe there is a background behind it. Indian government is probably attracting a lot of foreign direct investments in this field. It has always been these kind of companies wanted to set up their plant. I do understand that Foxconn, which is the #1 manufacturer, contract manufacturer, is working on setting up a factory in India, very huge factory, building up, I think basically building up, phones for Apple and things like that. So it's certainly, yes, it's going to be the future. As everyone is saying that the future is going to be India. There's a huge market to it. That's why I say please be open, whether you're looking for a job in India or you are looking at, if you are traveling overseas, whether it be Malaysia, Singapore, or even US, I'm just saying that this contract manufacturing is a good opportunity, is a good field. You shouldn't shy away from picking this field. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, yes, sir. So next one, what are the advantages of working done in India in the current scenario?
What are the advantages of working in India?
Away from India.
Away from India? Is that your question?
So advantages of working in Singapore, probably you can take it that way. Like that, I mean, should they see now, since there are a lot of opportunities available in India also, with large MNCs coming in. So is Singapore still an attractive destination? If so, for what kind of jobs? Until that.
I would say this, anyone, Ayyappan or Kasi wants to take this?
No, Kasi, you answer. We'll join. You can answer.
Okay. Please help me if I'm, telling something wrong. Okay. It again falls back to the choice of the individual. Some people like to be back with the family, with the friends and relatives. So you wanted to be in India, that would be the closest. But what we are trying to say is that Singapore is not very far from India. It's just 3 hours of flight traveling from India. So, and this is a multi-cultural, a multiracial place. There's a lot of Indians. You don't feel like, you are in a foreign place actually. So Singapore is not a bad place to be. Or I should rather say Singapore is a good place to, choose.
நான் ஹைலைட் பண்ண மாதிரி கிளைமேட்டிக் கண்டிஷன் இஸ் ஒன் ஆஃப் த அட்வான்டேஜஸ் சிங்கப்பூர். நீங்கள் எப்படி சிதம்பரத்தில் இருக்கீங்களோ இல்லை மெட்ராஸில் இருக்கீங்களோ அதே மாதிரி தான் வந்து சிங்கப்பூர் கிளைமேட் இருக்க போகுது. ஒன்லி மோர் ரெயின், யூ கேன் சி மோர் ரெயின். அது ஒரு பெரிய அட்வான்டேஜ். ப்ளஸ் மேபி பாம்பேயில் இருந்தால் கூட கம்மிங் டு மெட்ராஸ் you will take, if you are taking flights nowadays is okay. It takes 3 hours, 4 hours. Same time from Singapore also you can reach India. So as you say, you can work in India, you can work in Singapore. But to start with, just try in India first, get your experience, then you try in Singapore.
So when should we start looking for a job in Singapore for a good growth with 2 to 3 years of experience or more than 5 years of experience?
See, நான் அதை சொன்ன மாதிரி இப்போ எனி சிஸ்டம் இன்ஜினியரிங்னு எடுத்துக்கிட்டிங்கன்னா லைக் எமர்சன், இஃப் யூஆர் இன்ஸ்ட்ருமெண்டேஷன் கைஸ், ஐ எம் ஜஸ்ட் டெல்லிங், எமர்சன், யோகோவா, ஹனிவெல், இதெல்லாமே வந்து ஒரு சிஸ்டம் இன்ஜினியரிங் சொல்லுவாங்க. எல்லாமே பார்த்தீங்கன்னா எல்லாருக்குமே வந்து ஏஷியாவில் சிங்கப்பூர் இஸ் அ ஹெட் ஆஃபீஸ். தே ஹேவிங் ஆஃபீஸ் இன் சிங்கப்பூர். பட் இன்ஜினியரிங் எல்லாமே பண்ணுறதுனா எய்தர் தேர் டூயிங் இன் பூனே ஆர் இன் சென்னை ஆர் இன் பெங்களூர். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி நீங்கள் கம்பெனிக்கு அவங்களுக்கு கிடைச்சதுன்னா லைக் டெக்னிப், சைப்பம், விஜயராகவன் கூட பேசினாங்க இல்லையா, அந்த மாதிரி அவங்க கிடைச்சிங்கன்னா அவங்க தே ஆர் டூயிங் ஆல் த பேக் ஒர்க் இன் இந்தியா. அப்போ வரும்போது பார்த்தீங்கன்னா யூ வில் ஹேவ் லாட் ஆஃப் டெலிகேஷன் சான்ஸ் டு சிங்கப்பூர் கம்மிங் ஃபார் அ மீட்டிங். தென் ப்ராஜெக்ட் பீக்காக இருக்க பீரியடில் வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா சிங்கப்பூருக்கு அனுப்புவாங்க. யூ கேன் ஸ்டே இன் சிங்கப்பூர் ஃபார் 6 months. ஸோ தென் இப்படி வரும்போது 6 months நீங்கள் ஃபஸ்ட்டு வந்து பழகிட்டீங்கன்னா தென் இனிஷியலி கம்பெனி எல்லா அகாமடேஷன் எல்லாமே கொடுக்கும். ஸோ சிங்கப்பூரை பற்றி நல்லா தெரிஞ்சுக்கலாம். தென் யூ கேன் ஃபைண்ட் யுவர் ஓன் ஜாப், யூ வில் கெட் யுவர் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ். இங்கே வந்ததுக்கப்புறம் உங்கள் கிளாஸ்மேட்டை நிறைய பேர் இருக்க மாதிரி உங்களுக்கு ஃபீல் ஆகும். அது மாதிரி ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ் கிரியேட் பண்ணிக்கலாம். நீங்கள் இப்போ ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுறது என்ன கம்பெனி, எந்த ஃபீல்டாக இருந்தாலும் டோன்ட் ஹெசிடேட், ஜஸ்ட் ஸ்டார்ட். எல்லா ஃபீல்ட்லேயும் க்ரோத் இருக்கும். சூஸ் பண்ணி நீங்கள் வந்து நாங்கள் எல்லாம் எங்கள் கைடன்ஸ், எங்கள் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் கொடுத்தது எல்லாமே நீங்கள் ஜஸ்ட்டு இது பண்ணுங்கள். அதை பேஸ் பண்ணி நீங்கள் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணுங்கள். ஒரு 2-3 years இருந்தால் இபி அப்ளை பண்ணுறது, நான் சொன்ன மாதிரி எம்ப்ளாய்மெண்ட் பாஸ் அப்ளை பண்ணனா இருந்தால், இப்போ சிங்கப்பூரில் ஒரு ஏஜென்ட் எம்ப்ளாய்மெண்ட் பாஸ் அப்ளை பண்ணா இருந்தால் கம்பெனி, இப்போ எங்கள் கம்பெனிலேருந்து ஐ ஜஸ்ட் வாண்ட் டு கால் யூ, உங்களோட இப்போ ராதிகா ஹஸ் காட் வாட் அட்வான்டேஜ், ஸோ ராதிகாவோட ரெஸ்யூமில் என்ன எக்ஸ்ட்ரா இருக்குது லோக்கல் ஸ்டூடெண்ட்டை விட அப்படிங்கிறத நம்ம வந்து ஹைலைட் பண்ணி காமிக்கணும். ஸோ வந்து ஒரு 15 daysக்கு தே ஷுட் கிவ் அன் அட்வர்டைஸ்மெண்ட் இன் சம் பேப்பரில் அட்வர்டைஸ்மெண்ட் கொடுக்கணும். இல்லை வந்து ஒரு வெப்சைட்டில் அட்வர்டைஸ்மெண்ட் கொடுத்து, இந்த மாதிரி நாங்கள் அட்வர்டைஸ்மெண்ட் கொடுத்தோம், எங்களை லோக்கலில் யாரும் கிடைக்கல, ஸோ ஐ வாண்ட் டு பிரிங் திஸ் பர்சன் ஃப்ரம் இந்தியா, அவங்களோட அட்வான்டேஜ் என்ன, தேர் எக்ஸ்பர்டைஸ் இன் திஸ், ஸோ ஐ வாண்ட் டு பிரிங் தம். அப்படி தான் இபி அப்ளை பண்ண முடியும். கொஞ்சம் ஓல்டு சிஸ்டம் மாதிரி இல்லை, ஓல்டு சிஸ்டத்தில் ஈஸியாக இருந்தது வரதுக்கு. இப்போ வந்து டியூ டு காம்படிஷன், lot of people are studying, lot of country people are want to come in every part of the world. This is a question now. Even maybe from to India, if people want to come from Sri Lanka or somebody also, they also will have the same question, because local expertise are more nowadays. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Answered your question, yeah.
To apply for jobs after getting some experience in India, what is the right method to try? And by visiting some relatives or friends in Singapore or through an agent or job portals?
As I said earlier, people used to come to Singapore, like you have some relative or friends here and you can come and just go to visit many of the interview places, and people encourage it. Nowadays, you see the pandemic, nobody wants to conduct an interview. Now the current last 1 year, maybe most of the companies, nobody is encouraging you to come directly to the office. Like HR or admin, nobody is coming to office from last March. Only the engineering people we are going to office. So they all prefer you to come through only everything through either through like this media where the interviews are conducted, and I just sign digitally my contract and I get into the job. ஸோ அதான் நீ உங்களுக்கு 2-3 years போனாலே யூ வில் கம் டு நோ ஹவு டு கெயின் த ஆர்டருங்கிற மாதிரி. பட் தப்பு இல்லை, இங்கே வந்து நீங்கள் ட்ரை பண்ணலாம். இங்கே அதான் சொன்னேன், டெலிகேஷன் மாதிரி வந்து நீங்கள் ட்ரை பண்ணலாம். சோஷியல் விசிட்டில் வர மாதிரி சிங்கப்பூருக்கு 14 days they give you a visa to come on a social visit. If everything becomes normal, you can come. உங்கள் ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் யார்ட்டையா சொல்லி அட்வான்ஸாக வச்சுருந்தீங்கன்னா அவங்க இன்டர்வியூ அரேஞ்ச் பண்ணால் நீங்கள் இன்டர்வியூ அட்டன் பண்ணலாம். பட் அஃப்கோர்ஸ் அந்த இபி அப்ளை பண்ணுறது, இபி அப்ரூவ் பண்ணுறதுங்கிறது இஸ் அ கவர்மெண்ட் கிரைட்டீரியா. உங்களோட ரெஸ்யூமில் யூ ஹேவ் டு ஷோ யுவர் plus points.
So what kinds of jobs fetch good salary? Semiconductor, infrastructure, or IT?
Asi, you want to say?
Okay, salary we cannot compare within different industries. Like all industries, whenever you have experience, the salary range will be good here. As long as you have a 4 years, 5 years experience, you come in to any kind of industries, the salary range will be good.
Same expenditure also will be good.
Yeah, the same way, the salary you cannot compare the Indian context, because same way you have the same kind of expenses here. But some specialized, the specialization is the very important keyword we can say on your experience. Then based on that, the things will differ. So as you say, Ayyappan say, like if it is a employment pass, at least you need $4,500 salary minimum, they can apply. So that means you should have at least 5 years experience to reach that level.
So Dhanasekar sir will now give the concluding remarks.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, all of you.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
For the outset, I thank all of you, today's speakers, for joining us and sharing your valuable experiences, particularly the tips and guidances we received from your end. So it is definitely it will be useful for our students. I take this opportunity to thank all of you. So we are in the 18th day. So all these sessions, so many of your batchmates joined us and shared their experiences in different fields. So what we are thinking here is only a few companies and the IT companies and the major some top level core companies. But now by seeing this, so the opportunities are plenty. See, there are many opportunities you are exposing. So definitely this will help us for our students, so they can explore their possibilities to start their career. So I thank the 92 batch, Mahendra Kumar and their team. So to initiate this step, actually to bringing all of you to our campus. So I think they have different plans in future also. So yeah, we assure you to use your expertise for our student development, sir. So with this, I thank Mr. Ramasamy Chokkalingam, Mr. Murugappan, Ayyappan, and Mr. Pasna Dhurai, and Mr. Kasi Chokkalingam, all of you for joining us. You spare your time and share your experiences. Thanks, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.